We're just gonna have a very casual intro to this video because I've just tried to film an intro so many times and it feels so forced and so fake, and I'm so like, hi, welcome to the video. Like it just doesn't come naturally. So I thought if I just picked up my drink and relaxed a bit and just sat down like I'm chatting to you, this might be a bit easier. So yeah, hi everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm gonna be finishing some of the series that I'm currently in the middle of. So I've seen quite a few people do these videos, but they all seem to be in the middle of like 20, 30 series, which is just amazing to me. Like I don't know how people can get themselves in the middle of that many series and have the memory to know what's happening when they pick up the next book. I don't know about you, but I just find if I'm in the middle of too many series, it just starts to get really overwhelming and I have a terrible memory anyway. Whenever I'm reading a book now, I have to keep notes on each book so that even when I do like a reading wrap-up video, I know what happened, because even if a book is really great and leaves a lasting impression on me, I don't remember the details, I don't always remember the plot, and I don't always remember all of the characters. So I personally can't get myself in the middle of too many series at once. And I've heard people talking about quite a few series recently that I'm interested in starting, but I just can't do that until I finish some that are already on my list. So some of the series that I am interested in starting, but obviously won't be in this video, is Beartown by Frederick Backman. I've heard a lot of people speaking about that. The Prison Healer series by Lynette Noni, that sounds really good. Six of Crows, I've not read Six of Crows and it's been one that I've been meaning to pick up for such a long time, but I've just not got to it and I really want to now. So yeah, I need to finish a few series so that I can start some of those. I'm just gonna put this down. I feel like it was making quite a bit of ice noise and I'm chilled now. I feel like we're in the video. I'm less stressed about the intro. But yeah, so I need to finish some of the series that I'm currently reading so that I can pick up some of those. So I think I'm currently in the middle of about 10 series, and that does include a few which I'm up to date with. So like Akatar, Fourth Wing and Powerless. I'm up to date in those and we're just waiting for the next releases. The next Powerless book does come out next month, so I'll be able to complete that one soon. And then I have a couple that I will be continuing, but I'm just not sure when. I'm just not in a rush to pick them up anytime soon. And that is Butcher and Blackbird. That was the first dark romance that I read in my previous reading vlog. I will be continuing it. I'm just not in a rush to. And then also the Emily Wilde series. I did really enjoy the first book, but it's just not one that is like really high stakes and fast paced. Like it didn't leave us on a cliffhanger or anything. It's just a really cozy read. So I'm kind of saving it for those times when I want something like that. And I am looking forward to picking up the next books in that series. It's just, like I said, one that I'm not like eager to get to right away. But the books that I'm going to be reading in this video are the books that I'm really eager to get to and can't wait to see what happens, can't wait to find out how they end. I'm really looking forward to ticking them off my list. So that's what this video is going to be. I actually started the first book last night. Okay, my battery just died, but I was telling you that last night I picked up The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli, which is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. If you did see my previous reading vlog, then you would have seen me reading the first book in this duology, which is called The Crimson Moth, and it was so good. It was just so much fun, so fast paced, and from just picking it up again last night, I think this might be one of my favourite, if not my favourite duology I've read so far. So I won't give too much away in case you haven't read it, but in the first book we followed a girl called Rune who is a witch, and she lives in a kingdom where the witches are being hunted, and they're being hunted by these soldiers called the Blood Guard. So because she can't openly be a witch, she hides what she is and she pretends to be like a ditzy socialite, and she goes to like balls and the opera and just lives up to that part of like a ditzy socialite. But then by night she becomes the Crimson Moth, and the Crimson Moth is a vigilante who is saving the witches from the Blood Guard. So whenever she hears word that a witch has been captured, she'll go and rescue them, and the Blood Guard don't know who she is. They want to find her, they want to capture her, but she manages to keep herself hidden. And then we also follow Gideon, who is the captain of the Blood Guard. So he's the one that's in charge of everyone that's hunting the witches. Yeah, so there are our main two characters characters, and we get it from both of their point of views. It's Rune, who's a witch, and the Crimson Moth hunting the Blood Guard, and then we have Gideon, who's on the Blood Guard and he's hunting witches. And it's just this situation where they're both truly enemies. They're both definitely on the opposite side of what's happening in their kingdom, but they do run in similar circles, and they get to a point where they start using each other for their own agendas. So he's still trying to uncover the Crimson Moth and she's still trying to save the witches. I feel like I can't say too much because I don't want to give away like what happens, but that's nothing to do with what happens at the end of the book and like everything that happens. That's just kind of the whole idea of the book. She's a witch, he's a witch hunter. It's very much like a game of cat and mouse because they're both on opposite sides, but they have to try and use each other and play nice. And it was a really good, a really fun book, and it was great being in both their point of views, and you don't know what's going to happen. It was just so good, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. And then I did end up putting off the next book for a couple of weeks because I got in a bit of a slump. I didn't want to read it in a slump because I just know, I think this is going to be a 5 stars. I got to 16% last night and already I'm just loving it so much. Like, it's so fast paced. I thought when I picked it up last night, I was like, oh, I'll just read a little bit and then I'll go to bed. But I just kept reading the next chapter, next chapter, next chapter, and I could have continued, but I had to stop myself. It just picked up right where the last book left off, just straight away. Was so fast paced, straight to the action. I feel like sometimes with like a duology or a series, whenever you pick up the next book, then you have this like slow bit to get back into the story, back into the characters and build up what's going to happen in that one. Whereas this didn't do that. This could have just been a continuation of the last book. The cliffhanger that the last book ended on, this one just went straight into it. Like, no waiting, just fast paced. Oh, it was so good. The bit I read last night was so good, which is why I just can't wait to continue this now. So yeah, it's currently Saturday and I did have plans today. I was gonna go out, but I don't think I'm gonna now. I think I'm just gonna stay at home and read for the rest of the day. I think I'm gonna fly through this, and there's a very high chance that I might finish this today, which is just wild. So yeah, Saturday, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go and have some lunch now and then get comfortable and continue reading The Rebel Witch. I hope I don't have popcorn in my teeth because I've just been sitting here devouring this book and popcorn at the same time. Honestly, the perfect snack for this book. It's just so entertaining. This is so funny, so fun, so fast paced. We've got fake dating, we've got only one bed, just all the tropes I love, and it's so fun. It's so fun, it's so witty. Honestly, I should not have got a share bag of popcorn because I've just been sitting here like this, munching away at the popcorn because it's just been so good. Oh, it's just so fun. I'm sitting here smiling and just having the best time right now. I think I said this before, but I feel like any duology or series I've read before always has this like lull. So when you go on to the next book, especially a duology or maybe a trilogy as well, like the middle book in a trilogy is kind of like the whole lull. But this one just like, it hasn't got that. At the beginning of the first book, it was a bit slow getting to know the characters. But since it picked up towards the end and now going straight into this book, it's just got straight back into all the banter, all the, just everything that I loved about the end of the first book. You know, it's got high stakes, but it's just so good. I'm loving it, yeah. And I love the way they're just true enemies. They really can't trust each other. They just can't. It just makes it so interesting and so fun, and I'm having a great time. I'm gonna go wash my hands and put the popcorn away because that was a terrible idea. When I'm so engrossed in this book and a bag of popcorn there, I'm just like not even thinking, I'm just eating it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna continue, but I just wanted to come on here and let you know that I'm having the best time. I'm at 30%. I think I might have guessed what's gonna happen by like 20%. I think I guessed what's gonna happen, probably. I feel like it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. And I'm still having a great time, even if that is the outcome. I'm going to have a really fun time getting to that. And yeah, I'm still interested to see how it all unfolds and what happens. It's not put me off the book. I just think it might be a bit predictable. But then, like I said, I could be completely wrong. I'm going to keep reading and just keep having a really good time with it. Sorry for the terrible lighting, it's now quite late on Sunday, but I just finished The Rebel Witch and I wanted to come on here straight away and let you know what I'm thinking. I'm quite disappointed because I was really hoping this was going to be a 5-star read for me. It started out so well, like I really thought it was going that way. I was loving being back with Rune and Gideon, and I was loving just their banter, the dynamics, the enemies to lovers element that was happening, and all the added tropes that were coming into it. If you're a fan of Rune and Gideon from the first book, then it was just giving us everything, but the plot just really let me down. Last time I spoke to you, I mentioned that I thought I'd guessed something that was going to happen. It just kept being like that the rest of the way through the book. Everything that was meant to be like a surprise to the reader was just so predictable, and it had me really losing interest because everything that was meant to be gripping me just wasn't. So yeah, I'm quite sad about it because I was really hoping this was going to be a 5-star read. I've rated it 4 stars at the moment, but I might give it 4.25 stars. I'm going to see how it sits with me over the next week or so, just because the more I think about like Rune and Gideon and the beginning of the book, I think it might deserve a little bit more for that, because I do really love the characters and it is really fast paced as well. You can just, the chapters are so short, a lot is happening, so you can just fly through the book. So it was fun, I love the characters, but yeah, I just wanted more from the plot and it to be less predictable. That was the issue, because nothing was surprising me, which is just a real shame because I was so excited for this book and I thought it was going to be that, but yeah, it wasn't. If you have read The Crimson Moth, or even if you haven't, I would still highly recommend the duology because it's still a 4-star duology upwards. It's still a really good romantasy duology. It's definitely romantasy, heavy on the romance. But yeah, so if you love a romantasy, then this is definitely a great one. I think as well, because the twist in the first book was so good and I just didn't see it coming at all. I think that's probably why I'm a bit more let down by this one, because I know how good her plot twists can be and we just didn't get that. So it was still good, it is still a good book, just not 5 stars. That's one series now complete though, as this was only a duology. I am happy about that. So that was The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli and I'm currently giving it 4 stars. And then the next book I'm going to be picking up is the final book in The Folk of the Air. Is that what it's called? Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm still going to count this. Okay, so I have The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This isn't the final book in the Folk of the Air series, but it is the final book in the original Cruel Prince trilogy. So once I finish this, I'm going to mark it as complete until I'm ready to pick up the Stolen Heir duology, which follows different characters at a different timeline as well. So I'm definitely going to mark this one as complete when I finish this and then come back to the Stolen Heir duology at a later time. I vlogged when I read The Cruel Prince back in October. I read that as part of a 24-hour reading challenge, and then I read The Wicked King in my previous reading vlog, so you would have seen my thoughts on that as well. As we get further into them, I can't really say what's happening, and I'm sure most people have read the Cruel Prince trilogy because it's just a really popular fantasy series, but I honestly feel like I have no idea what's going on in this series. Like I know what's happening, I get what's happening. Like I have no idea what anyone's thinking. I guess it's an enemies to lovers, kind of, but not really. It's a fantasy series where we follow a human girl called Jude who was raised in a fairy world called Elfheim, and the fairies in this world are all quite cruel, quite wicked. They're all scheming and tricking each other, but they can't lie. So the humans can lie, but the folk that live in Elfheim can't lie. So they just go about it in different ways, and that's why they're all quite cunning and quite scheming, because it's their way around not being able to lie, and it's just the way they are. It's a very whimsical world, it's a very quirky world, and it's a lot of fun to be in. I gave the first book 4 stars and the second book 4 stars too. I'm expecting this one to be a 4 stars as well. I just think it's a good solid 4-star series. Like, it's a really good time, it's a really fun time, but it doesn't sort of blow me out of the water. But yeah, at the end of the second book, something happened where I thought I was finally understanding the motives behind some characters and how they were feeling and what they were planning, what their end goals were, and that just wasn't the case. Something happened at the end of the second book which just sort of like threw me. I was like, oh, okay, so I just don't know what any of them are up to. I feel like whenever you feel like you know someone in this series, something happens and no one's quite what they seem, and yeah, they're just tricking me as well. They're not just tricking each other, they're tricking me as well. So this should be a really fun read, and I think it's only like 300 pages, 300 and something, what is it? 305 pages, so I should get through this one quite quickly. And yeah, then that's the original Cruel Prince trilogy ticked off my list as well. I think I'm done for reading today, and I just want to let the Rebel Witch settle in a little bit more and see if my feelings change on it. I want to update my Goodreads, update my Fable, and then go through and see what everyone else is saying about it. Sometimes as well, when I'm reading reviews, they'll mention things. I'm like, oh yeah, no wait, that was good, because my memory isn't the best. So no more reading tonight, but I'll catch up with you in the week when I start reading The Queen of Nothing. Okay, so it's been a few days since I last spoke to you. I just got really busy and haven't had a chance to sit down and catch up with you, but I also couldn't put The Queen of Nothing down, and I did end up finishing it. I was having such a good time and I wanted to keep stopping myself so that I could update you like midway through the book, but I just couldn't put it down. I was having such a good time, and yeah, I said in my last clip that I thought this was going to be a 4-star book like the previous 2 books in this series, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. So yeah, I think maybe with Rebel Witch, I put too much pressure on it and I got too excited for it. Then when I went into it, it just didn't live up to that. Whereas with The Queen of Nothing, I didn't have that high expectation for it. I just thought the first 2 books were a 4 stars. This is probably going to be a 4 stars too, and just round off the series nicely. But that didn't happen. I think the first 2 books I had like little issues with, mainly the fact that the main 2 characters, Jude and Carden, I just wasn't loving. Particularly in the first book, I didn't love either of them that much. Carden did a lot that I didn't like, and Jude, I just wasn't gelling with her. Like, I wasn't finding it realistic how involved she was in everything. And then in the second book, that kind of sort of like started to wear away, and by the end of the second book I really liked Carden, and Jude was growing on me too. Like, I started to see more of her drive and it became more believable for me, the things that she was able to do, and I started to like Jude in that one. And then in this one, I don't know what it was, but from the offset, there's like something that happens in the beginning. She goes off and she does something, she kind of like battles someone. And then just from that moment on, I was just like, no, actually, you're quite like, you are really good. You are a really good character. You're a really strong character. You know what you want, you know what you're aiming for, and you've done really well to survive the fairy world as a human girl. So yeah, just from the offset, I obviously was already liking Carden, and then I started to like Jude as well. So yeah, the characters, I just loved the whole way through it. The whole world, I just liked so much more in this one, and I do think the first 2 books are a big reason why I like this one so much, because obviously all the world building and the character building, yeah, I just really liked being in this world. It's just so whimsical. I really love the Fae characters and the folk of this world. Like, I just think they are so unique. Like, I just love the way they all trick each other, and even the characters who you think are meant to be bad, I even like them as well for being a bad character. They're just really good bad characters, and the world is just so whimsical. I can really like picture everything very vividly, and some random things happen like halfway through this book. If you've read it and you know what happens like halfway through this book, that's quite like out there and random, but I could really picture it happening, and I was like, of course something like that would happen in this world. Like, why not? It just makes so much sense. I just had a really good time and I couldn't fault it, and it made me love the series as a whole so much more as well, because it was just so fun, so whimsical. Things in the first 2 books I just kept missing. Like, at the beginning of this book, they mention that Carden's got a towel again, and I don't know why. Every time that point is mentioned, it goes in my head and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I forget about it again. I don't know why, I can't picture him with a towel. But then when you picture him having like this towel that like wraps around things and stuff, it's like, I don't know, it just makes sense for the world that he would have a towel. It just makes it that little bit more different and random. Like, he's not just this man that I'm picturing. He does have something different about him. And halfway through this book as well, I started to realise that it was almost giving me Emily Wilde vibes. So I've only read the first Emily Wilde book, but if you have read that, that's like a cosy cozy, low stakes fantasy. It's very calming to read, but very interesting because the world's like so whimsical as well. And this book kind of gave me that same feeling, like just that cozy, really enjoying like a really magical, whimsical world. But there's definitely more happening in this one. But I don't know, I could just really picture that this world could be the fairy world that Emily Wilde is just outside of. The fairies and the folk in the Emily Wilde world that she's trying to uncover and writing about, they just seem so similar to those in this world. I don't know why, I just got that feeling halfway through this book where it just felt like I was having like a really cozy, good time. But there is definitely so much more happening in this series. It keeps you on your toes the whole way through because you just don't know who to trust. You don't know all the little twists and turns that are going to happen. It just really kept you guessing, and I can't say enough good things. So that's why I gave it 5 stars, because it was really good and I had a great time reading it, and it was the perfect end to the series. And I can't wait now to pick up the Stolen Heir duology, which is set in the same world and follows different characters. Very unexpected, but that was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, and I gave it 5 stars. And then last night I did pick up the next book, and the next book is going to be Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and this is the 3rd book in the Part of Your World series. Now this is just an interconnected series, so I could have read any of the books in the series at any stage, but I have read them in order. So there's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, which I gave 5 stars, and I loved Yours Truly. That is my favourite romance book I've read so far. I loved Brie and Jacob so much. And then the final book is Just for the Summer. This one only came out last year, but it is the reason why I wanted to pick up this series, because I saw so many people reading this and rating it so highly. So I was really eager to pick this one up, but wanted to read the first 2 before I did. And I'm glad I did, because like I said, I loved Yours Truly. Now I get to read Just for the Summer. I started it last night and I got 50 pages in, and I'm just loving it already. Just from the offset, I just really like the main 2 characters so much already. I think they're both so sweet, so funny. They've got really good banter between them, and yeah, I just had a lot of fun with the first 50 pages. So in this one we have Justin and Emma, and the book starts off with a post that Justin has posted on Reddit, and he's basically saying that he believes he's cursed, that every girl he dates, when they break up, they then go on to find the love of their life, their soulmate, the person that they are going to marry and end up with and live happily ever after with, basically. Yeah, that's his curse, that he'll never find his true love. He's just sort of the stepping stone for everyone else. And then we have Emma, who believes that she has this same curse. One day she comes across his Reddit post, and her friend, or maybe it's her sister or her foster sister, I can't quite remember the relationship, but she convinces Emma to basically slide into his DMs and let him know that he's not alone. She has the same curse. So that's how it starts, and then they come up with a plan where technically, if they date each other, that should then counteract the curse, and they should each go on to find their soulmates after they date each other. So like I said, I'm only on chapter 5, so I haven't gotten into all that yet. We've just had them getting to know each other and kind of laying the groundwork for this to work. And it's also been quite funny as well. But I just find that with Abby Jimenez, she writes characters who have something deeper to them, like they each have something else going on in their lives, that it's not just going to be a fluffy, sweet rom-com all the way through it. There's going to be more to it, more to our characters, and that's what happened in Yours Truly as well. There was more to the characters that made them feel more realistic and going through like real world problems and struggles, and it just makes the book so much more interesting too. But they are also really great romances, and if it's like the first 2 books, it just makes you root for the romance even more and love it even more when there's like the sweet fluffy moments, because you just want the characters to have a really sweet fluffy romance. So that's what I'm expecting from this one, for it to be just as good as the last one. If it's going the way I think it's going to go, then I think I'm going to have a really good time with this one. So I'm going to keep reading this one tonight, and I'm also in the office tomorrow, which is good because I can read for a couple of hours on my commute, but I'm going to be better at giving you updates. I'm really going to work on that. But yeah, so I'm going to get comfy and get stuck back into this. Okay, I'm not much further along, but I just have to come on here because it's so funny. Like, he is so funny, and yeah, just the things he's doing. Like, I think he is like a computer developer or website developer or something like that. Just he's sending her things like related to that. He's sending her websites that he's created, or is it websites or like pages he's created and things like that, and they're just so funny and so witty, and it is feeling like a classic Abby Jimenez book. Like, she'll touch on something deeper and then right away just the two characters just bring themselves like back to like the lightheartedness and the happiness, and just I think I've read like 2 chapters and I'm just bouncing between that. When they're interacting, it's just so wholesome and funny and sweet. Yeah, I'm just loving them. But yeah, then like I said, just that deeper part to it as well, and I'm loving this one so far. I'm only 18% in, I'm not even that far in, but I'm just getting Yours Truly vibes. Like, I'm just loving them so much. But all I want to do is go and get in bed and get cozy, get comfortable, and just settle in and really enjoy this and take it in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to bed, keep reading, and I'll update you after work tomorrow when I should be much further into the book. So I'm back from the office now, and I'm sorry that we have dark lighting again, but I've got this little light attached to my camera that I'm hoping is putting some light on me. It's currently 7 o'clock and it is pitch black outside, but the clocks do go forward or back this weekend, so we will have an extra hour of daylight, which I'm really looking forward to, because I just feel like my mood is just so much better when the days are longer, the days are sunnier, and yeah, I just feel so drained by the darkness and the winter. But we're coming out the other side, spring is coming, and yeah, it's getting brighter. My mood's actually just perked up a bit as I started filming. I was feeling a bit tired on the train home and didn't think I'd have much energy tonight, so I did actually pick up an energy drink from Tesco. I think this one's meant to be like not as bad for you. It's got vitamin C and electrolytes, but I don't know if it's actually good or if it's just like vegan. 7 o'clock at night and I picked up an energy drink, but I don't really think they work too well anyway. I still think I'll get to sleep fine and it'll just give me a boost for the evening for the next few hours. For book updates, so I continued last night reading Just for the Summer, and I was also reading it on the train into work and the train back home just now, and I'm up to 61%, which is chapter 29. I am still really liking this. I do think it's getting a bit repetitive and a little bit slow. Like, some of the things that are happening or the thoughts or the feelings just seem to like be happening again and again, and there's not really much happening. They've both got a lot going on in their personal lives, but there's not really been anything dramatic around that yet. Yeah, it's still really fun, it's still really enjoyable. I just feel like Justin is exactly who Emma needs, and yeah, she's not having the best family situation and he's just doing everything so right, and yeah, he's just so sweet, so caring, so thoughtful. He really does just think of everything. There was quite a bit in the sections that I read today where I kind of felt like Justin was putting in a lot more effort than Emma was like reciprocating back into the situation. They're not dating, it's kind of like fake dating, but I just felt like Justin was just putting in so much effort and Emma wasn't really doing the same. And whenever we were getting her point of view, it just, I don't know, it kind of only made it enjoyable if she was talking about Justin or if her friend was doing something to make me laugh. But the bit that I was just reading on the train before I got off, I feel like this could be where that changes and she has to put in a lot more effort. But yeah, other than that, they are just really sweet together, and yeah, it's really cute. It has me laughing and I am having a really good time with it. So 61%. I might even finish this tonight. I think I've got, it's saying 2 hours 40. So yeah, I'm gonna probably FaceTime my boyfriend for a little bit first and then finish reading Just for the Summer, and I'll probably catch up with you tomorrow morning with my final thoughts on it. Good morning. I can confirm that having an energy drink at 7 o'clock at night is not a good idea. I didn't have the best night's sleep, but I was able to stay up and finish Just for the Summer. I feel like this might have been why I didn't have such a great sleep as well, because the last 30 to 40% of this book was just so emotional. My emotions were all over the place. I was saying throughout the book that 1 minute I was happy, 1 minute I was sad, and you're going up and down throughout the book. But then the last 30 to 40% just ramped that up even more. Like, oh, really happy moments, really silly, funny moments, and then just really deep, sad moments. It really goes deep into like childhood trauma, and they just have a lot going on. and it does go into it quite a bit. And as well, I just got so angry at one of the characters, and I tried to choose empathy. If you've read this book, then you know that trying to choose empathy is a big theme throughout it. And I tried, and I know people who do bad things have usually gone through bad situations themselves or need help themselves, but oh, I was just so angry, and I've never been that angry at a character in a book before. But yeah, so all the emotions, it was just a lot. I think it all ended really well and wrapped up how it should have. It was just a lot going up. Maybe it was the energy drink. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the energy drink I had as well just made the whole situation a little bit worse. So I actually gave this one 4.5 stars. I'm talking about it like it's a 5-star, but it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I don't know why. Yours truly was a 5-star for me, and I do think it was better than this one, but yeah, I'm not sure why. I think maybe it's because throughout the book Justin is just always going that extra step, that extra mile, and it's almost too much. It's almost over the top at times, and then that can almost sometimes make Emma seem like she's not doing as much. I think if he was just a little bit less amazing, there wouldn't have been such a drastic difference, but that might be a bit unfair to say, to make yourself less than for someone else. But I just think that everything else is written so realistically and emotionally and a bit deeper that he's almost too much or too nice for the book. I don't know, is that weird? So yeah, so that's why I gave it 4.5 stars, because it's just one of those things. It just wasn't the 5-star feeling. Still 4.5 stars, and the series as a whole I would give 5 stars. I think as a whole it is such a good series. It's a romance, but it's more than that, and I'm looking forward to reading her new book that's coming out in April. But I might just need to give myself a little break, because this one was a lot deeper than I was expecting, and I need some fantasies or lighter romances before I go into another one of her books. So that's the Part of Your World series completed. If you are going to read this series, I would highly suggest reading all 3 books and reading them in order as well, because you're just not going to pick up on things. You're going to miss things, you're going to miss characters, you're going to miss character development. And I know it's meant to be an interconnected series and people say you can just read one of the books, but I just don't think you'll have the same experience or enjoyment from them. So if you do want to read any of them, then I would definitely say read all of them. So that's it for Part of Your World, and that's also the end of this video. I finished 3 series, which I'm really happy about. They were 3 really good series, and I'm really happy to have read them and completed them. I think the next book I might pick up is the second Emily Wilde book, because after reading The Queen of Nothing, I'm just really fancying being in a whimsical fantasy world, and I feel like I need a cozy read as well after Just for the Summer, because that was a lot. That really was a lot. So I feel like Emily Wilde could be the perfect book for me to pick up next. So I'll probably do that. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me read these books, and let me know down below if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.